Hello and welcome back to the Canadians Women's Classic. My name is Castidan Kocic. I'm alongside Jason Gunnelson. We are live from the Tavern United broadcast booth right above the ice at the Portage Curling Club. So for the second draw, we have Team Howard taking on Team Carey in one of 8 games on the ice here at the Portage Curling Club. And we saw in that first draw the ice is just as there's just as much curl as we saw in the men's matchup last weekend.
Yeah, we have one of the absolute best ice makers here in Greg Owasco, who's got this ice curling. We're going to see some points put on the board from both teams, and you know, it could be a race to a high number here. So we should get some good offensive play.
And Chelsea Carey joining us in the broadcast booth for last game, so she should know the ice pretty well, and she was paying attention pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good scouting to get to watch the whole game, and this is the same sheet as she would have been broadcasting on, so they should have a good idea. In the draw of the button, Team Ashley Howard was fully on the button, and Carey was just behind the button, so Ashley Howard's team will start with a hammer here. And it looks like Chelsea's calling for the first one out front.
Chelsea Carey working in a completely new roster here for this season after the free agency change put pretty much every team on the ice. Every team that we see on the ice had made one change or another.
Yeah, it was definitely a busy offseason.
Puppy. Tracking still. Down. Here it goes. Coming down. Curling down. Yep. Line's nice. Over curling if anything.
They've got Brianne Knapp actually in sparing for them. Their normal lead just had a baby. Finn, I'm told, is the baby's name. It's a couple days old. So they have Sarah Wilkes at third, Dana Ferguson at second, but in the house. And they have today Brianne Knapp at lead.
For Team Ashley Howard, it's Skip Ashley Howard, third Carly Howard, and Caitlin Corbin is throwing second, and Ashley Williamson is throwing the lead stones.
Yep. Hard. You gotta go. Hard. Sorry, our fault. Fine.
First rock is in there, slightly behind that center guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, good first 2 shots here. Team Carey's going to try and play a little soft, take out weight, and stay somewhat near the center here.
Easy if anything. Yep. Little down. Whoa. I think we're 10-5. Right off. Should do that well with 10-3. Okay.
Maybe a little too much weight on that shot from Brianne Knapp, just ticking that Howard Stone from behind the center guard.
Yeah, it's probably tricky for Chelsea to know where to put the broom for a new player who they might have practiced once or twice, but haven't played a lot of games together.
So early opportunity for Howard to split the rings here.
Line's fine. Fresh path. We gotta go. Yeah, you're really curling.
That rock is digging into the fresh pebble here.
Yep.
We'll take a big brush to get it there.
Not bad. Yep.
Really nice sweep here to level those 2 rocks up, and early deuce opportunity here for Team Howard.
Good.
I've got the winner already.
Yep. Close, yep.
Dana Ferguson looking to go around that.
Hard.
Oh, no, going for a hit. Sorry.
Hard. No roll. Okay, big roll. Good throw, Dana.
You heard their Chelsea audible. They were going for the hit and roll by the center.
Curl, like,
But once they started rolling, they wanted to roll it closer to the blue to potentially set up a later double.
Solid.
turning into
Whoa,
turning into figuring out where to roll this rock and how to best get it there in this first end.
Okay, that's fine. You okay?
Opportunity for Team Carey to get a double here. Choosing for the roll.
Yeah, they could take on the double, but they're sure to roll out.
At the top one?
So I think they're going to try a patient set up a double for one of Sarah's shots, maybe.
That was good. Wait.
Still in second stones. The split happened so early that they have a lot of time to set up how they want to attack the rest of this end.
Yep. Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow. Good throw, Dana. 9-7.
Not quite the roll they're looking for.
Yeah, they kind of sounded like they kind of thought it was pretty good halfway down, and it really took off.
As much as I thought it would. What, wait? Oh.
Here's a very defensive call from Team Howard. They're really looking to build towards a blank here with this call. They could split the house and go for their 2, but respecting Carey's team's hitting ability, they're just looking for the blank.
Yep. Yep. Whoa. 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 Okay, Corbin, that's fine.
Was looking to roll in front of the stone inside the house, but
That call. I hit it too. I wasn't.
a little hit it too thin, and pretty much sets up the last few rocks here for a blank, barring any mistake.
It's good, little down.
I think that's a plan. That's probably a game plan in the in the pregame meeting. They're thinking we want to blank that first end if we get hammer, and that's what they should get if all the shots are made.
Wait, was good. Okay.
This Ashley Howard team, 3 of the 4 of them are returning. Caitlin Corbin, the second, is the new player. You might catch the she hasn't even got the right name on the back of the jersey yet this early in the season. So, but Ashley was telling me before a game that it's been a good pickup for them, and they've been.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Hard, Ash. Gotta go. Hard. Hard. Good.
Great sweep there to keep that straight, and just a hit and roll out. Really, no penalty here. It still looks like most likely we're going to have a blank end in the first.
Sarah Wilkes, final stone here of the first end.
Cover close. Weight's good.
As no rocks in play right now.
Last year at the Canadian Olympic Trials, I got to throw some rocks with Sarah Wilkes, and I was absolutely amazed by how consistent of a player she is and consistent of a thrower of the rock. She's just an unbelievable talent, and I think that for Team Carey to pick her up this cycle is just one of the huge wins in Canadian women's curling. So hopefully she has a good game and I don't put the announcer jinx on her here.
It's an exciting. It's always an exciting spring in the year in a reset of the Olympic cycle.
Oh, for the fans, maybe when you're involved in it, it's terrifying. But no, 4 years is a long time, and I think that teams are ready for that change. So this will be interesting because they really this Team Carey comes from basically 3 different teams coming together, and how they mesh and figure things out might take them a little bit longer than a team that's stuck together, but I think that brings more upside having a few different viewpoints coming into the same team.
So this early in a team's life cycle, is it just important to throw as many rocks as possible together?
Yeah, I think that they probably would be looking to practice together as much as they can and play some events, and this is kind of reminds me a little bit of the Team Cooey last cycle, where they went with Mark Kennedy playing third but sweeping, and they got to figure out it's a new role for Dana, new role for Sarah, and what works best for them. It'll be a process over probably probably a full year before they really hit their absolute best stride.
Line's good. Line's good.
And when you're setting up your teams, you want to be playing your best 4 years from now. So it's almost a bit of a prediction job to figure out where you're going to be in 4 years.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, okay. They're not doing much across the line,
So Team Howard here in this first end. In the first end of a tournament like this, you'd like to maybe keep it simple, keep it a little bit more simple, go for the blanks, stay a little bit conservative.
Yeah, I mean, always when you're tied with hammer, blanking's always great. But Ashley clearly was looking for this blank, and hopefully she can execute her 2 shots here and get the blank she wanted, and maybe we'll see a little more aggression in 2.
Whoa, clean right now. Clean. Yep.
I'm gonna try and update scores as well as I can. I was told coming out to stream here that that was very important. So on sheet 7 we have a 2 for Team Sinclair. On sheet 3 we have an opening single for Team McLean, and that's all they got marked right now.
10-5. Yeah. Okay, no, those little floppier waist there.
Not seeing a lot. This is the first day of a pretty long tournament, so.
Yeah, it's a triple knockout format here, so everybody has some lives, and the ice is swinging so much. You're gonna see, see some big ends, and that it's just kind of about making it to that Sunday, and then you got 3 games to win there. So
This is Chelsea Carey's final stone of this first end.
Right to it. Hard! Hard! Gotta go! Hard! Gotta go! Okay, good.
big sweep there. With the rollout's unfortunate, but Ashley gets here to learn a path and then have an easy blank and get things going in 2. We have Auckland, a team who plays mainly on the Manitoba Tour, younger curlers. They've taken an opening deuce on Team Tracy Fleury, which is one of the top teams in the world. So that's an interesting start there.
The game here on our feature game on sheet 6. We'll get that blank in the first end. Maybe one of the slower games to start out of all 8 games on the ice right now. And so we'll be back with the second end after a quick message from Canad.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
We're back here inside of the Tavern United broadcast booth. Castida Kocic and Jason Gunnelson with the Canadians Women's Classic Draw 2. Team Carey and Team Howard blanking in that first end. Pretty conservative play from Team Howard. Pretty much probably what they had game planned out when they knew they would get hammer in the first end.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's especially the first game of the Bonspiel. Again, we've got Team Carey calling the center guard though, and they want to make something happen. They don't want to take huge risks, but they definitely want to make something happen in the second end here.
Rock will bite the 12.
But now we see the corner guard call for Ashley. So this is all part of the plan. Get the hammer, blank the first, and try and play a little more aggressive for your deuce in the second. So obviously a team that has a lot of experience playing the game and also has some great lineage. Wendy Howard's daughter Ashley here it really knows the game.
And the corner guard slots in pretty much exactly where you want it.
Yeah, just a little bit because we didn't lay a broom to it.
Bit unfortunate that first rock got into the house for Brianne Knapp. We'll try to play a tap back here to make the most out of it.
Top 4!
Yeah, on this ice that's so good and curls so much, these taps are a lot harder than on most curling club ice.
Back house! Has to curl a lot. Can we come around it? Dana. We're all there! Okay, you're by.
Calling an audible here.
Oh, that really carried. Oh, that's the 6. Okay. Just did that well. Okay.
And slides out the back.
So they've got the 6 rock already pegged as probably a straight fast rock there, and
That was the 6.
because most teams
That was the 6.
most teams would start in order and kind of throw 1 to 8, but obviously they have some notes from a previous event, previous year, and they've already moved that 6 to the lead player.
Might come down. Lots of room. Oh, Harley's still. Don't want to. Harley's rock. No, it's up. It's back. Yeah, we're not curling at all here.
Looks like the ice may have straightened out between the first draw and this, and now we're at 130.
Yeah, it just looks when there's a little bit of frost on it and fresh pebble, and it looks like we've gotten out of that stage. So I think they'll make the adjustment here over the next couple shots. But the ice looks very, very good at this point.
Really hard.
It's going to take a big sweep here.
Gotta go. Okay.
We're going to see an accidental 5 rock free guard zone situation come up here.
Good sweep.
So in the old rules of curling, that would have been fine because it was only 4 rock free guard zone. But now with the 5 rock, you can't go chasing after the one in the house as early there
Okay.
on seconds first. If you wreck on the guard, it comes
Got
back.
it going because it was gone very quickly.
So what used to be a pretty great miss is now an opportunity for Team Howard.
Looking to take advantage of some early mistakes here with the first few rocks.
Similar path.
In the first end, Kadoran's gotten 1 on Spencer, and Froud has a deuce on Varnes as well.
Hard, you gotta sink it. Yep. Go. Hard. Hard, keep going. Go. Keep going. Good sweep.
Williamson drags that as far back as she can.
That was a fantastic sweep to really try and get it to slide behind the corner a little bit and make this shot more challenging.
Whoa. Gotta wait. Sarah. Watch the roll, I think it's 4. Was 10-5. Yeah.
Great weight control there from Dana. That allowed them to stay shot rock. So even though it wasn't option A, it still plays and has a lot of value for them.
To it.
Ashley Howard asking for the hit here, it looks like.
Wait, stop!
Slide out the other side.
Yeah, that was a tricky spot where you didn't know if it was going to be a little fresh or not fresh, and they got to roll out, but still a good situation with the corner guard up for Team Howard.
Well, we've seen some rocks. We saw some rocks in the first draw kind of hang out sometimes on that ridge. That can happen sometimes.
Weight's good. Yep. What do you think? Yeah, a little up. Hard. Bump. Hard.
Huge sweep here.
Hard, 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 hard. Hard, 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 hard. Okay, well,
Oof, just nudging that guard.
Okay.
At the end, Chelsea tried to call the sweepers off to wreck the guard and go into the house, but just kind of got caught in between.
Yeah, needed to call them off a little quicker than that.
Through well. Yeah. Full 12. Ready.
This is a premium chance for a 2 or 3 score here for Team Howard.
I believe those were both the guard and the buried rock or half buried rock are both Ashley Williamson's rocks, I believe, from the lead position.
My path's super quick. Yeah. I think so, because I thought she was a little closer to it last time.
So Carrie looking to nose that blue rock that's closest to the tee line.
Lift a little less. Little less. Yep. Hard down. Whoa. Tack. Just tack. Close. Whoa. Just tack. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Get your hair down, Dina. Just tack. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nice.
Just a beautiful little
Let's
shot.
out here.
That's Dana Ferguson, I think, almost taking a spill there as she was sweeping that rock.
She's all too happy to now get to be in the house here and then just not have to
Put on the gripper.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect opportunity. That was a beautiful shot by Sarah, though. They could have played a big weight double takeout, but by hitting the one out and staying right in front, they effectively make both the rocks not be able to count.
Heavy. Watch the line. Oh, it's good. Whoa. Tons of line. Line's good. Keep it on. Yeah. Gotta be T-line. Don't lose it. Wait only. Line's fine. No bounce. Yep. Keep the line. Yep.
And a pistol shot right back from Team Howard.
It's like from here we can.
You don't even have to touch this, but if you do, it's great.
Yeah. What kind of weight are you thinking?
My first thought is hard.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Because
like you
it's
see
like
enough of
to
it.
spring off.
Not exactly. It was a good rock, but leaves an opportunity here
I'll take a look at it from down there and see what.
for Chelsea Carey to make
Yeah, make it.
make a nice little slash and lie two here.
Yeah, there's definitely an opportunity to remove both the blue rocks, but it comes with some risk of touching the corner guard. You'll have to get somewhat near it, and
We've seen them tick off of it twice already in this end, so
yeah. Well, she'll be throwing it hard enough. If she hits it, she should knock it out of play this time. So, looking for just playing the intern and a little bit low of nose, and we'll eliminate both the blues. That sneaky biter that Brienne slipped into the house could end up being the force point here. They didn't want that at the beginning, but it might be very beneficial to them.
any chance of holding your shooter here?
I think she wants to lose her shooter, ideally. Just hit it a little bit low. If she sticks the shooter, she probably sticks the top blue.
Whoa, whoa! Close! Right off.
Gonna have to curl a bit for them here.
Okay. Ah.
A little in between, and the door's open here for Team Howard. She got rid of the back blue,
I
so
just didn't want to curl.
that helps.
None.
But the other blue is tough to remove, so could be 2 with a great shot, even potentially set up a 3 here.
Which way do you want to roll this?
This is an interesting decision. They've kind of mentioned both ways. I mean, if you roll near the blue, it's easier to get 3, but if you roll to the center is probably a safer for 2. So it just depends how much risk they're looking to take on here. The other thing with the roll towards the center is that it'll probably be behind the tee line, behind the guard, which could allow Team Kerry to switch gears and make a freeze.
Yeah, like everything's snapping with the U-turns. 10.5. Just rolling big your way, Ash.
Sherry Anderson out on sheet 8 has picked up 1 in the first end as well, for a 1-0 lead, obviously.
Yeah, early, yep. Hard! Yep. Hard! You gotta go! You really gotta go! Hard, Ash! Hard, Ash! Hard! You got it, Ash! Hard! Keep going, keep going! Really hard, really hard, really hard, hard!
A huge sweep there for Ashley Williamson. Made contact, but not enough to remove it from shot rock. And yellow lying 1 is going to switch gears here, try and make a nice draw and maybe set up a steal.
A bit of a missed opportunity there for Team Howard.
I think we just draw around this.
Yeah, there's a big change here. But this is a massive shot. If Chelsea gets a good one in, she really sets up a steal. But if she doesn't hit the 8-foot, Team Howard will have a relatively straightforward shot for 2. So a huge swing shot here.
So I can probably give you the same as what I gave you here, hey? Just let that to back. It can be deep, it just has to be buried.
You hear Chelsea there say she's not really concerned about it going deep. She just wants it buried.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different situation than most. This is a draw to the button path or pretty close to it, so she should have a good idea on the weight here and doesn't want to set up a double.
Line's
for
good! Yep. Line's good! Hard line! Hard, Sarah! If you can, Sarah! Hard line! If you can, Sarah!
It's warp into the guard.
We're okay, we're by! Okay.
This looks perfect.
Okay, then bring it, yeah. No, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. Good, nice shot.
Great brush and great throw there. Chelsea Carey puts it in pretty close to the perfect spot. Very hard draw here for 1 for Ashley Howard now.
She's got something going, she knows.
I just didn't set it.
Good, nice weight though.
Yeah, they don't have to shoot.
Good line calling there. Good communication from everybody to put that rock. Know exactly line versus weight there. Good communication between the between the sweepers and the person calling the line in the house.
Yeah, it's really a team shot, and for a team as relatively new as them, that probably is something they'd be working on a lot. So it's good to see that executed.
Not an easy shot here for Ashley Howard, but this was I believe the exact path that she won the draw to the button with a shot like this, or about the other turn. So should know weight at least.
Yeah, she gets to follow down, so they will have some kind of interval time on the last shot. So they'll have a good idea. She'll be close here.
Line's a bit tight. Stay close, Dad. Stay close. Line's really good. Line's really good. Going sideways. Yeah. Well, nope, you're not on it yet. Good. One.
And a nice shot there from Ashley Howard to pick up the first point of this match, taking a 1-0 lead over Chelsea Carey. We'll be back with the third end after a quick commercial break. And welcome back to the Canad Inns Women's Classic from Portage La Prairie. Ashley Howard making a nice shot there to score her one, but I think overall that end, if you're Chelsea Carey, you have to be happy with leaving that shot, that last shot, for a single point.
Yeah, it was extremely hard last shot, but Ashley made no mistake, and both teams will be kind of happy. I mean, one for the Hammer team is kind of that, you know, yay, we didn't give a steal, but yay, we held them to one, and now we get our pro team with Hammer. So I think both teams will be relatively happy with how that turned out. Just a quick update here after a nice center guard by Team Howard. Sinclair got a steal of 2 to go up 4-0 on Barber. Varnes got her deuce back to be tied 2-2 with Froud. And Robertson got a single back to be tied 1-1 with McLean. And Abby Auckland stole 5 to go up 7-0 over Fleury. So we've got a huge upset brewing. But with all this curl in the ice, there could be a lot of curling left in that one.
That's a big number to put up.
Yeah, that's a crooked number, but it's early. If you're going to give up 5, give it up in the first couple ends.
You're seeing it is not used to seeing guards this close with this much swing. You need to have those guards pretty close to the house.
Yeah, they're throwing the tight guards, or even last end just in the front, and kind of using that to try and create the steal here. That back 8-1 can be that sets up a lot of 3 balls. So you know, not exactly what they called for, but it can be a very sneaky positioning.
New pass. More, eh? Tight. Hold it out a bit. Wide. Way out there.
Where do you gotta go? I can't really hear.
Hey, there you go. Yep. Line's great, guys. Make it good.
Gotta go. Wait.
Hard. Hard. Line's perfect. Go,
Keep
go,
going.
go.
Keep going.
Hard.
Go, go,
Go,
go.
go, 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 go. Okay. Good pair.
Sweet.
Unbelievable brushing and communication there. It sounded like that was the first rock out that wide, so it's a slightly different path. But they knew to just keep sweeping, even though they thought it was heavy, because it was going to slow down, and they end up with a perfect positioning here.
Both groups of sweepers so far in this game have been getting a workout.
Yeah, when it curls this much, it's you're always going to be involved in either, you know, sweeping for distance or sweeping for line. So it'll be a tiring week for the champion.
So we're seeing everything go around the center guard in this end.
Usually advantage to the non-hammer team when you're playing around the middle, but we'll see how this one shakes out. That rock just didn't curl as much as they were expecting. Again, that would be the 6 again for Brienne, but with a maybe a rock that you think maybe is a little tricky, coupled with a brand new player you haven't seen much of it. That's going to be a challenge for Team Carey to get those rocks in the right line. That's kind of 2 ends in a row where similar things happen to them there.
So Williamson with her first, looking to, I believe, put another one behind that center guard.
Nice little soft weight takeout there. Produces a really interesting situation for Team Carey.
They are laying 1.
Yeah, so they're keeping the aggression going here.
Line's close. Okay. Lots of line. Line's okay. Hard. Hard, 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 hard for line 2. All you got, all you got, all you got. Line's great. Little edge behind. Hard, 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 hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Great sweep, guys. Nice team.
What great positioning of that shot.
Sweep.
Unbelievable sweep. They've been going to that out turn constantly where Sarah Wilkes is sweeping, and as one of the premier sweepers in the women's game, she's they've obviously realized that already as a team and are using it whenever possible.
Yeah, I think it should be nice. Play it a bunch.
Where?
Little down.
Lots of line.
Keep.
Line's good.
It's good. Wait's really good.
Room. Oh, where?
All there. No, it's right. Back.
We're on it.
No, we gotta bump it.
Yep, straight. Yep, straight. Whoa.
It's your call, Ash.
Okay.
Shoot.
Just by. That was a very aggressive call. First two ends, we've seen a pretty conservative Team Howard, but here with Team Carey lying to and with the hammer, they played a freeze and slipped a little deep. So there's a large opportunity now to set up a multiple score here for yellow.
Now you're just trying to put another one in the scoring zone. Where exactly should this rock be headed?
She's looking to either freeze her own and make the exact same shot, or even freeze the blue in the top 8 foot and kind of create almost a guard in the top of the house for her two shot stones.
Okay, switch and go if you have to. Okay, go if you have to. Yep. You can go now. Line's pretty good. Yep. Good spot.
Beautiful. That was a great pair from Dana and really setting them up well.
It's above the blue, right? Yeah.
Bit of a dangerous situation for Team Howard as the first of the third stones are coming in.
Yeah. And they're identifying that now and talking about playing a run back to try and get out of some trouble they're in.
Do you like the out turn?
Yeah.
On sheet 1, Chrissy Kadoran stole 2 to go up 3-0 on Barb Spencer. And on sheet 5, China's up 4-0 on Roth from the U.S.
Yep.
Whoa! Yeah!
Whoa! Close. Yep.
Yes!
Oof.
That girl, nice shot.
Not a bad outcome at the as the rocks settle in.
An absolute great outcome. Blue's now shot, so Team Carey has to deal with it, but there's no real good way of removing it from play. So it's going to be a scary end always with all these yellows in play, but it went from bad to pretty decent here from Team Howard with that great shot.
Wait's good!
And there's no staggered guards as well, which is
Yep.
Yeah, just one center.
Hard. Go, Chelsea, go. Keep going. Okay.
It's removed one blue and now it's shot.
Here.
But the back 4 blue is very hard to remove. And this is now one good hit and roll, and we're into an aggressive situation where Team Howard could potentially even, result in a steal for them.
Yep.
Whoa!
looking for the roll. Needs to curl a bit for them.
Hard. Okay.
Not awful.
So we'll lay 2,
Easy.
but
Yeah,
giving
I agree.
Or you like normal?
giving Sarah Wilkes a chance to respond with a hit and roll of her own.
Yeah, it's a pretty good result, though.
Tough for Sarah.
This has been a very interesting end. This is
Wait's good.
Oh,
Close. Yep.
It was interesting to see Chelsea Carey embrace playing around the center guard
hard.
despite having hammer.
Any roll?
Good sweepers.
Okay.
Great brush there.
Good.
So a pretty lonely Blue Rock right there.
Yeah,
It looks like Chelsea Carey's sitting second through fifth shot or four. A lot of shots in there. A lot of yellow.
yeah, it's definitely one bad miss and Team Howard could be in a lot of trouble. But the situation is actually pretty good for them. As long as they nose shot rock here, they'll be lying two still. Their counter is mostly buried and kind of frozen to a back or yellow, so they're in a pretty good situation as long as these last two shots are executed.
Right now, these last two shots still all about avoiding that catastrophic mistake.
For sure. Everybody out there knows that this could turn into 4 yellow real fast.
Yep, 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 yep.
Hard. Hard.
Hard!
Hard. Hard.
Hard! Gotta go!
Hard.
Hard!
Hard.
Hard! Hard!
Hits and rolls away. Not
exhausted, bud.
teams are joking.
What's your
Ashley's
gut
joking
say?
that the same sweeper's sweeping every shot. With the new, you know,
because we're saying like lane couple, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It still gives you that draw to the path. If she freezes, you still have it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if it's the line should be this, like the ice should be the same for both this with back 8 and the straight draw. So if it's light, just straight draw.
Okay.
I was giving you here.
Okay.
That's probably not far off. Thinking a hair less, if anything. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I like there.
I only have to tap it an inch.
Okay. Yep. I like this ice.
so they're playing to move this back frozen combination with the blue and the yellow. That would open up the big score. If it happens to come a little bit light, they were saying, or isn't quite thrown as hard as they're looking for, they could come top 4 and set up a 2 score as well. So a little bit of an audible opportunity here for Dana in the house. And ideally, they'd like to nudge the blue and yellow combo about 3 inches.
Either draw or tap. And I think the ice is similar for both. So if it's not there for tap weight, then we can just draw, and I think that ice is good for that too. Right? Yeah, I think plan A is
Pretty
to
odd
tap
house
it an inch
situation looking at it.
and
Not
let her
often
try
you
to
see
make it-
a rock formation like that.
Just shrapnel everywhere, yeah.
Yeah.
On sheet 3, Team Robertson
Yeah.
stole
I
5 to
actually
go up
don't know.
6-1 on Team
Yeah.
Tiffany
So this
McLean.
stands half now. Yeah, so just same
And
speed
on
to the
sheet
T-line,
7,
and I can just go from there.
Barber got 1 to go down 4-1 versus Team Jamie Sinclair.
Sinclair stole 2 in the second.
Line's good.
Room.
Yep.
As Chelsea Carey's first rock is on the way.
Where? Yep. Hard line.
Hard, gotta be full 4 at least.
Hard line. Okay. Yep. Okay. Whoa. Just leave it. We're top. Okay. Let's go over curling anyway, so let's leave it. Nice. Good sweep.
Great audible from the team there. Not the shot that they called originally, but a really good shot to set up their deuce, which is all they're looking for.
Well, that shot was made with the conversation beforehand and knowing which way the smart miss was and knowing what their plan B was before you even got in the hack.
Yeah, no, it's fantastically done.
I think freeze was my initial call.
Okay.
What can go wrong with that?
Not
And
much.
can she still get this? No way.
Slash it. She loses it for 3, maybe out.
Yeah, I might be able to
So
get shot.
options opening up. Looks like they're leaning towards the freeze.
Yeah, they're really just, you can hear the conversation. They're
Okay, so she gave like
concerned
here.
about the big end, but realize they're pretty safe from that.
Right?
I was thinking right here.
Okay. If you what you threw in the last one was a 13.95, and you were like back 8, like you bumped it back 4.
Yeah. And this should be a shade better, right?
I think this is good, Ash.
If you throw this perfectly, could you get shot stone?
I think that's available, the perfect freeze, but Really, a freeze here that made Chelsea draw the button for 2 would be a bit of a major win here after kind of how this end's played out. So really trying to follow her down. If she's perfectly on the corner, Ashley could be shot and maybe create a steal, but just get something in there and put the pressure on a tough shot for 2 is probably ideal.
I was probably back 8. It's like high T line.
The problem with that perfect freeze is if you bounce even a couple inches, then it's a straightforward hit for 1. You'd much rather make the other skip draw the button for 2. Or sorry, straightforward hit for 2.
So Ashley Howard's last rock on the way.
Yeah, line. Yep.
Line's great.
Yep.
Facing down a single
Quick, gotta go.
carry stone.
Good, no bounce.
Really hard. Really hard. Keep going fully.
Really gotta go, guys.
Hard. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Bring it over. Cut off the yellow.
Just a little bit light. They swept it most of the way, but just a little bit light of a throw here. And with all that curl, it does
That's about
stop.
where we were. Because we were here and then I moved it to about there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want a bunch
Okay.
more.
Yeah, I like there.
So looking for a big chunk, or about more than a fourth of the 4 foot, and you'll get your 2 points there.
Yeah, she just threw this draw pretty similar. She might even have a little bit of backing if she's a little bit wider. So this is a shot that they'd really like to make for a 2 here for Team Carey.
Nice job setting up this end behind the center guard,
Yeah. I think stay down early if you can. Sarah.
keeping rocks around.
Doesn't get that.
I think you have to like this shot for 2 pretty much any end.
Yeah, you always like to have your 1 away, salted away, and just going for that second point.
Line's good.
Felt all there to me.
Line's good.
Line's fine, room.
No, line's good. Okay.
Don't need
Sarah,
to.
stay close. Okay, stay close. Line's okay.
Yeah.
We're by. Good.
No mistake from Team Carey here with the 2-point end. And a 2-1 lead.
I got 4-8 and 4-7.
So Team Howard getting the hammer back in the 4th end, which is going to come up next after a quick word from our sponsor.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
And we're back with the Canad Inns Women's Classic. Our feature game right now in this second draw is Team Carey versus Team Howard. Team Carey scoring 2 in the 3rd end to take a 2-1 lead. A bit of a interesting end to see a team with the hammer set up behind a center guard.
Yeah, it was definitely a very interesting end, and it kind of had everything from chances of steal to chance of a big end, but it ended up with 2 peaches by Chelsea Carey to create a deuce for her squad and give them a slight lead going into the 4th end here.
Nice job that end of keeping the 4 foot a little congested, but not too congested, where they were able to find enough room to score there too.
Yeah, they had the angles. Definitely Carly Howard made a big run back, or Team Howard could have been in more trouble. On sheet 4 here, we have a steal of 2 for Varnes to go up 4-2 on Team Froud.
Measurement going on sheet 2.
And really interesting, they've moved that 6 rock from Brianne Knapp's second shot to her first shot, and she again had the problem of it sliding a little farther than they were looking for. So back 12 doesn't put a lot of pressure on Team Howard, and they're able to feel good about throwing their corner guards.
It's the draw of steals right now.
Yeah, Team Roth from the States got a 3 to go down 4-3 against Team China. And Team Barker from Saskatchewan got a single to be down 2-1 without against Team Anderson, also from Saskatchewan.
Well, there you go. Fleury putting up a 5 in the third end, only be down 2 after giving up a 5 of her own.
Holy goodness, why can we watch that? That's some offense is going crazy over there. Because that one yellow is at the back, it gives Ashley more options here on this shot. She's gonna realize it's a 1-point game and gonna hit the top 8 danger rock here for yellow and try and roll behind the corner. She could also throw a second corner guard. That's kind of what she was debating between.
I don't think you need to overreact to last end.
Oh, for sure. They got to be pretty reasonably happy with how this first 3 has started, and hopefully they can get a deuce here. Nice nose hit.
I think both teams will feel comfortable with how the rocks are set up right now.
Yeah, we're kind of playing to a tie a bit. I think if anything, slight advantage Team Carey. With that high guard on this ice is very tough to generate 2 behind because so much curl. Even if you're directly behind it, you can play a soft weight takeout. So.
Yep. Whoa. Little roll your way there if you got it. Nice. 9-4.
Dana's having a strong game here.
Well, with Brianne Knapp having a bit of trouble, I think she's getting the short end of the rock stick right now. So giving her at least one rock that they know is not exactly performing like they want it to. So
sometimes they're a little different, yeah. So no, it's gonna give the newbie the fun rocks, and then Dana's really making all her shots to keep turning those ends back to positive ends for Team Carey.
This rock's going to roll out.
Chelsea up to hit the corner guard. So just realizing that, even that 1-point lead's enough of a lead that they don't have to take any chances, and they're just going to try and create a blank here, and we'll see how aggressive Howard is, if she goes along with that plan or if she really tries to force it.
Where she had
Probably not exactly how you want to throw that rock.
Dana's just one of the great characters in this sport. She always makes it a little bit extra fun every game, and it's probably a pretty solid throw, maybe slightly sharp, and she had a couple giggles about it, but Peel made easily.
It's a little bit similar to what we saw in our first game, where Eve Muirhead. She started with hammer, scored 2, and then forced. Really played the scoreboard right from the beginning. So you're almost seeing Chelsea Carey do something similar here.
Well, it's actually funny because Eve has a huge influence from Carly's father. Glenn did a lot of coaching with them. So, I think you've seen that as well with Team Ashley Howard. Is they understand that even a slight lead is huge, and that's why they went for that blank in the first end as opposed to maybe trying for 2 but risking a steal. And I think you'll see that all the way through from both these teams. They're very aware of, any lead is a big lead, and keeping that scoreboard in their favor at all possible.
Nice throws there.
Team Cadorn added another steal to be up 4-0 here after 3 versus Team Barb Spencer on sheet 1.
So just one rock here at the back of the 12. Should be another pretty simple end for both teams.
Yeah, this is a move to try and put a little more aggression into it with a guard call here. Realizing the team Carey will probably just go up and peel, but it's a game of chicken, because at some point Carey will just throw it in the house and try for an easy force. So.
See maybe a roll available here.
Yeah, they've. As Team Howard came to the house, Carey's team just has a straightforward nose hit to potentially turn this blank into a force of 1.
Little firm. Lean. Little firm. Lean only right now.
I think we're 8-5.
Lean it.
Okay, sorry.
Watch your roll, Brianna. I think it's close. Yep.
Good.
Good.
Good. Nice.
Ashley Howard calling for the double from Carly Howard.
Yeah.
With her last stone.
That's the old cousin. You've made this mess. You gotta bail us out of it now. Opportunity for the double for Carly.
Yep. Yep.
Not easy. There's quite a bit of distance between these two stones.
Very, very tough shot. She's very close though. Very close.
Sorry, Carly.
A little bit high side.
Didn't quite get the finish I think she was expecting in the last little swing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a missed line call there.
Ram's first one ran really nice this way, so I'm assuming it'll be close the other way.
They swept it hard early and then ended up missing on the high side. So probably a pretty good throw, but you know, in 4 of game 1, you're still learning the ice conditions. So. Which we must say are fantastic here. The scoreboards are fun, exciting. We got one of the best ice makers in the world in the house at Greg Owasco, and the players are, you know, that's what they love, is to build a, you know, to show up to an event and know that the ice is going to be fantastic from draw 1.
And if you're watching, you gotta love the big swings if you're watching the games like this.
Yeah, not if you're grandma maybe, but but if you're just watching as a neutral fan, it's pretty exciting to know that you know you got 12 points up on sheet 2, 3 ends into the game, and a mess of rocks again. So no, lots of fun stuff happening out here in the Canadians in Portage.
Not curling much yet. There it goes. Line's good.
Room.
Needs to curl a little.
This is 4 draws in a row for Chelsea. She's really getting this draw weight dialed in with the sweepers, and that's something that they've got to love going into a long week on this ice, is to be feeling confident on that draw weight already for their skipper.
3 feet slower,
Yeah,
probably.
it's 4-4, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just setting up the angles here. Take another crack at this double.
Can. It's just how hard Ash wants to sweep.
Is that too little?
10? Yeah, it's close, Carly.
To 10.
The Howard back end's kind of making fun of the fact that with the new one sweeper that most teams employ, sometimes one sweeper ends up getting the short end of the stick and sweeping every rock, it seems like, and the other sweeper never sweeps. So they're saying that Ashley Williamson has been sweeping basically every shot all game. So I'm sure she's going to be nice and tired by the end of this thing.
We're thinking a 10, guys.
Oh, Ashley Howard's first stone coming in here. In the 4th end, obviously.
Hard!
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 Really hard, Ash! Really hard! Really hard! Really hard! Yep! Whoa.
Great little audible line call here. They didn't make the double they were maybe looking at, but they rolled right in front of the other rock, which forces Chelsea to play a more delicate hit than if she would have nose hit it.
Looked like Ashley was giving a little bit of a laugh as she went into the house saying, yeah, I meant to do that.
So wait for Chelsea to throw here on sheet 7. Sinclair picked up 1 to take a 5-1 lead after 4 on Team Barber.
I definitely want to keep one eye on that Fleury Ackland game.
You got to keep both eyes on that game the way they're scoring points.
Could be setting up for another big end, just peeking over there. So Chelsea Carey with her last rock of this 4th end.
Yep. Yep.
Looking to hit and stay around but avoid
Yes.
jamming.
Back. Hard.
Big sweep
Really
here.
hard. Hard, 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 hard.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think it's really close.
Oh,
Okay.
How's the weight on
lack of an audible there, and this would be a massive momentum swing if Team Howard can make a hit and stick here for 2. All in looked like it was going to be a force or a blank, and a great opportunity here for Ashley to get 2 points.
Should have just let off and let that curl around.
There was definitely an audible to be had there, but it's always tough to commit to that audible because that's how you look the most silly. So it's a danger, but again, as they play together more and she sees Chelsea throw more, I'm sure Dana would be, want to make that audible some of the time.
So Ashley Howard can just nose this, I think.
Yeah, nose or anywhere high and stick it for 2.
Yep. Yep. Hard. Hard. Really hard. Really hard. Hard. You gotta go. You really gotta go. Really gotta go. Really gotta go. Really hard. Okay.
Well, she's stuck around for 1, but only a single is an opportunity squandered. But we've got a 2-2 tie going into the 5th end.
Chelsea Carey with hammer heading into that 5th end. We'll be back with that 5th end after just a quick break. And we're back at the Tavern United broadcast booth at the Canadians Women's Classic. Team Carey and Team Howard all knotted up at 2 here in our feature game of this second draw. The skip's going mistake for mistake there. It ends up with the result that we were kind of expecting before the last rocks came.
Yeah, for sure. They both kind of liked that one back, their last one back, but in the end it's kind of a wash, and we got 1 for Team Howard. And they go right to the center guard, which is executed perfectly by Ashley Williamson. So we're going to see some aggression out of Team Howard now, realizing the second half, even a tie game without hammer, they've got to take some chances. And Chelsea, is always pretty comfortable with rocks in play. Played last year with Kathy Overton Clapham, one of the great aggressive, curlers in the sport, and I'm sure that experience just furthered Chelsea's love for rocks in play. So we should see that here.
Might be a little out.
Okay.
No, we're close.
That's really good.
Top
We're seeing Chelsea Carey. We saw her the last time we went this way score 2 around the center guard, and she's going right behind the
top 8.
center guard again.
I'm not the other side.
Okay. Just top 8.
Okay.
Really nice one here from Brianne, and this
Nice throw.
is something that she's kind of getting forced to play into this team as she's sparing for them and probably doesn't have the reps with them. But that's a really nice shot, and you know, right in the depth that they're looking for Team Carey.
Okay, weight's
Yep,
good.
yep, yep, yep. Hard. 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 Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Unfortunate result here for Team
Until
Howard.
we call it, then she knocks it into the boards. Tough one, Ash.
It's Team Howard. Both the backhand players are
Sarah?
quite funny there. They're just laughing at the accidental perfect kick that was just made.
Okay. Yep.
This gives Team Carey an opportunity to guard their nice top 8 rock and put themselves in a great position here.
Like it tight? Tight!
Yeah, that
To your broom!
when you saw that they were going to crash, you probably expected a worse result than
Not yet.
than
Just
ended up
tight.
happening for Team Howard.
Halfway tight!
Hard, 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 hard. Okay, whoa, 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 whoa.
Wow. I actually thought that one would carry better.
Good call.
Really nice shot there. 2 perfect shots for Yellow to...
Thought I finally had her figured out. Nice. I was scared to sweep that, but perfect line.
So actually Howard deciding to draw behind the center guard as well.
Yeah, they're still in steel or, you know, hard force kind of mode, and then this is actually not playing that bad into their hands here with Chelsea's aggression.
It's a little down. Soft.
Line's good.
Weight's good.
Yeah. Hard line. Hard line.
Weight's all there.
Hard. Hard. Gotta go. Hard. Hard, hard,
Huge
hard,
scrub
hard.
here, and a nice freeze.
Perfect. Played it the hard way, but it's pretty good.
As Chelsea ponders her options here, on sheet 8 we've got a 3 for Sherry Anderson to take a 5-1 lead on Barker.
Okay.
And on sheet 3, Robertson stole again to go up 7-1 on McLean.
Okay.
Froud was held to a single, so they're down 4-3 versus Varnes going into the 5th end.
Line's good.
Chelsea elected with a split the house call. Probably a really smart call in this with this scoreboard.
Shot then.
You know, they would really like to get a 2, but they don't have to keep plugging that middle up.
Really gotta go. Hard to get even at least. Go, 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 go. Okay, Dana.
Fantastic sweep from Team Carey there.
We'll settle in
Sure,
for
guys,
third
a little
shot
light.
there.
Yeah,
Not sure on that path if they would have ever gotten second shot though.
no, there's not a lot of room out there, but this really creates an interesting situation for Team Howard, and they're playing to the middle and you know, bringing a 2 or 3 into play, but really trying to position those middle rocks correctly.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Hard. Hard. Hard, 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 hard. Ash.
On the guard.
Okay.
Down, eh?
Yeah.
Shoot! Do we freeze to it or do we play that? Okay.
Even if you just pick it, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Normal.
Okay.
Chelsea could play a soft tap, rearrange to lie, you know, first, third, fourth, fifth, and really put the pressure on Howard. But she's going with a bigger weight shot.
Really, no.
Ooh, that's got to curl a bit for him.
We're gonna pick our own out.
Oof. Not sure who's shot stone right now. I believe it's Team Howard, but it is very close.
Okay.
Sure.
That little tap made things more interesting.
Yeah, huge opportunity here for Howard, where they were in some trouble, and now with a nice double and roll, they could move it to more of a force kind of situation, which would be great for them.
Whoa. Yep. Yep. Whoa.
Hard.
Yep.
Yes.
Whoa. Yep. Sorry.
No mistake on the double there from Carly.
Your Flurry and Auckland update. Auckland scoring 1 in the 4th, making the score 8-5. She had a very tough shot, it looked like, to score at all in that 4th end.
Cadoran is aboard the steal train with another steal of 2 to go up 6-0 after 4 on Spencer on sheet 1. You really got to come down and catch this action here with, you know, 8 sheets going, multiple draws a day here in the Portage Curling Club.
It was a 9-8. Okay, good throw though. Okay. I'll give her less ice too.
Fair up. Okay.
You don't like the roll under, eh?
Nose hit as that mistake picking out their own rock really opened up, or the Chelsea mistake picking out their own rock really opened up this end.
Yeah, now there's a lot more patient end, and it's just, I think you see, there could be an attempt at a deuce for Chelsea, but really they'd love a blank, and get to that tied with playing 6 is a very powerful score that they would love to get to.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
Your Team Howard, you do have a guard out there.
Yeah, nice little hit and roll near the guard. Makes the shot a little trickier, which is all you can ask for in this spot.
That was so close to being perfect. You're like an 1/8 of an inch less of that rock, and you're rolling right behind.
Real nice shot here from Sarah Wilkes. She just wanted to get this rock in the open away from the guards and set up a blank opportunity for her skipper.
You don't want to go. Yeah.
It was nice, able to play a little bit more weight on that shot, take a little less ice than we've been seeing.
Yeah, they want to manage it with the sweepers, but when it's curling this much, a little bit more weight can be a good thing for them.
So both teams, or at least Ashley Howard, looking for a roll here.
Yeah, she'd like to change the status quo, because right now the status quo is a blank. So she'd love a roll, but she knows she's got to hit and stick and keep the pressure on Chelsea to execute.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Well, we're rolling a bit the other way. Okay. Who's the blank
I was
on
just
that?
thinking
That's
that. Yeah. You want to try for it?
I think maybe because it risks.
It sounds like
I guess
Chelsea
that's high
Carey's sizing up the draw,
to get under it, but
Right.
it's hard to do that.
looking maybe for a roll.
Well, it's just an interesting situation. I mean, a good roll could lead to 2, but
Solid easy.
a roll away guarantees a shot for the blank, so it's kind of
Okay. Well, it hasn't seemed to be. Yeah.
how aggressive do you want to be?
I like it. Right here.
I think with game situation, you want hammer in the 6th, so probably nice to see them consider it, but I don't think you're ever expecting them to do it.
I think they with that ice, they are probably going for the roll. So I think I'm surprised by this, but
Blank's hard, but with that rock, play it this way.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking good easy, like what you
So that little sneaky blue catcher on the side is influencing Chelsea's decision, which makes some sense. A nose and a nose, and then that peel would go towards that rock. So she doesn't want to get forced without trying for two, so she's switching to the roll.
Clean.
Oh!
Whoa. Close. Yep. Yes.
Hard!
Whoa. Yep. 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 Hard. No roll. Or keep going. Yep. Yep. Good. Nice shot.
Oh, wow. Beautiful line call and sneaky roll behind the second corner. Just what she was looking for there.
Yeah, I thought she was going to try to roll around the guard closer to the center line, but kind of like that roll.
And it was a great audible. Great, a little bit of a plan A.5, but you know, it was a beautiful audible by the line caller Dana.
Haven't thrown a ton here, right?
No. I think it'll still
Does
be
just
okay.
give a chance to Ashley Howard to sink one in of her own here.
Yeah, the old
What do you guys think?
best defense is a good offense here.
Okay, kind of like Carly's did there. Yeah. That was in 2A. Okay, top 8 is really nice behind the first guard.
I'm not sure if we updated it. In the fourth end, Team Lu from China scored a single to go up 5-3 on Team Roth, playing the fifth end.
Little tight.
Guys, easy if you can.
And she,
Yep.
You can
Yep.
go.
Line's
Hard.
good. Line's good.
Hard! Line's great!
Hard.
Come on,
You
guys!
really gotta go. You
Hard.
gotta go. Really
Hard,
hard.
hard, hard!
Really hard. Keep going.
Hard.
They've got to get
Keep
this
going
shot
hard.
stone.
Keep going. Okay. Yeah.
they have been sweeping and sweeping, but it will come up a little bit short and a draw for two. And another opportunity for a great skips deuce by Chelsea Carey.
Nice job recognizing the opportunity to take two.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my same path. It's yours, but I think the speed will still be okay, hey? Okay. Yeah. I'll make sure to be positive, and then we'll let you know on the lines. If it's tracking, then we probably got to stay off it until it gets the curl. Okay, 2-1.
The same draw she had for two ends ago, so they know this path pretty well.
Line's good. Line's good. It's curling more than before.
Curling now, guys.
4-8. That ran similar to Brianne's ascent. Nice.
So pretty much a textbook skip deuce there for Chelsea Carey, and she will lead her team to a 4-2 lead heading into the sixth end over Team Ashley Howard.
Nice shots.
We'll be back after a quick shout out to some of our great sponsors.
So just keep
Eat. Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Right, not sure if we can get to sheet 4 for our last rock here from Varnes. As she's ahead 4-3 right now. As the first rock comes for Chelsea Carey. And we are on sheet 4. Barnes' shot coming in. Nice shot there, I think. We got a little bit blocked view here. Not sure.
Sheet 6 and the first one here from Team Carey overcurls again, and the battle with this 6 rock continues. Nice weight though, top 4, and a good starting stone.
Team Carey up 4-2.
This is Team Ashley Howard now. It's on the corner guard, and they're going to be forced now with a 2-point deficit to bring some offense here and try and quickly kind of flip the scoreboard. Whereas Team Carey will be more on the defensive, as even a score of 2 against them still leaves them with control of the game. Calls top house here for Brianne Knapp.
Line's really nice for tight.
Tight, we're tight.
Okay.
Wait. Little up, gotta go. Or
There's
little down.
rock.
Just, we're right,
Line's
real
really
tight.
good.
Real tight.
Very nice.
I've
Good
lost
touch.
a lot of
High
words
five.
there. Sorry.
Beautiful placement again.
And that was a score of 1 for Varnes on sheet 4.
Yeah.
Back line.
Just split. Keep yours in play. And there.
Team Howard's playing a little bit of a tick split shot, which is a great call, but in a 2-point deficit that might be pushing too conservative. But they obviously have a plan here and want to make sure they don't get the steal.
Hard! 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 Hard, hard, hard. Anything, Corbin.
Go.
Looked like that was pretty good weight, just a hair off on the line.
Yeah, pretty good result though. They've still got their 2 corner guards up, and it'll be interesting here. This is the 5 rock rule in action. I mean, Chelsea's, you know, up 2, looking to play defensive, and has to pile another one around the corner or slight corner guard. In the old days, you would old days being like a couple months ago, you'd be up ripping that corner guard before you could sprint there. But this is a different game now.
Pulling now. Line's okay. Still room.
Yeah, we could
still
see
room.
some teams that like to play that more rocks in play style find some more success early in this season.
For sure, I think you're going to force everyone to be that kind of team, and you know, it might actually help the best teams separate themselves even further. But in the short term, every game's you know, an opportunity to come back and win, as we're, you know, even seeing a little bit out here.
You're trying to double off the
Quick
yellow.
update on sheet 8. Anderson stole another 2 to go up 7-1 on
corner.
Team Barker. Team McLean on sheet 3 scored 1, but is down 7-2 without versus Team Darcy Robertson.
A lot of big steals in this draw.
Yep.
Whoa!
Looking for the run back double.
What a shot. Highlight reel stuff here from
That's
Caitlin Corbin there making the run double. I gotta check here the name. She's got Williamson on her
Yeah.
back, but no, beautiful run double and brings the play out to the corners. This is going to now set up an opportunity for you know, the later players down the lineup to get a deuce for blue around those corner guards.
well, keeping that shooter is massive, forcing Chelsea Carey to go wide out there to try to eliminate it.
Yeah, this will be a tricky piece of ice here. It hasn't been played in a while, so you're going to see a big sweep here.
Right to it, right to it, right to it, right to it. Well slept, guys. Good, Dana.
I even tried to aim at the foot technique. I was aiming at the foot technique, but I wasn't. I was tight of the foot.
So chance here for Team Howard to sink one behind a corner guard.
Yeah, and with Team Carey sticking out in the wing, that could potentially make it really hard to remove this rock if it's positioned top 8 behind the corner guard.
Yep, yep.
All there.
Line's good. Line's good.
Gotta go.
Yep.
Weight's good.
Hard.
Another huge brush here.
Curling, over curling, full 12. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
In between.
Yeah.
This is the challenge of ice that curls so much. On straight ice, you want to get as close as you can as the guard to get as much of the rock buried as possible.
I ran straight and then curled up at the end.
On ice that curls this much, you have to actually miss that guard by about a foot to end up behind it. And here they've poked out the other side, and Sarah Wilkes is going to get an opportunity to chase with the intern hit.
Yeah, it should.
Do have to be careful to avoid the jam.
There's a few jams in play. It's not a straightforward shot.
Clean, clean. Little up. Clean.
Whoa. What's that, Chelsea?
Like a 9.
You're okay.
Sarah's an absolute fantastic thrower of the rock, so you're going to expect to see her make good shots like that consistently. Team Howard's going to have to put a little more pressure on to create a deuce there.
Hard early. Yep. Hard early.
Same shot we just saw.
Line's fine.
We're going to make it a little bit better.
Okay. Whoa. Over curling. Just let it die. Stop. 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 Okay.
Push the guard by a bit more there and put it into a good situation.
Same shot.
Okay, can I throw like easy?
I like that.
Yeah. Was that on the big end of normal? Yes. It wasn't, yeah. It was a 9. Weight's good!
Oh.
Like a 10? Clean. Clean. 10?
Just
Clean,
just
clean, clean.
Clean right to it. You're good. Great shot, Sarah.
Do I sweep? Yeah.
Yeah, probably should have.
I felt like I was going to hit the board.
Shooter does hang around, but probably won't play into this end.
I like this one better.
Team Howard's thinking about switching guards. They go around. That tighter guard is makes it a little bit harder for Team Carey to chase when you're buried behind it. The higher guard was better for maybe setting up a 3, but now they realize 2 is going to be probably the max they can get without major missing. So they're going to switch corners that they go around.
Yep. Yep. Gotta go, guys. Hard.
Last of the third's stones.
Hard. Hard,
Coming
hard,
in
hard,
here.
hard. Whoa. Whoa. I just see it.
On the guard.
That's a wreck.
Okay.
Sorry, weight was all there.
And now we're seeing a switch in gears. Team Carey's been playing very defensive all end, but with an opportunity with a center guard now, and no blues in the house, they're going to try and wrap
like
one
that.
top 4 to create a steal.
It felt that way a little bit with speed too.
Is there even any other option at this point?
No, it'd be pretty hard to do much else. So that's kind of what's caused it. But they see an opportunity, and this team always is quick to pounce on opportunities that to switch gears when playing defense.
Yeah. Same weight. Okay. I like that. I'm going to try to throw it like that too. Like I think I really want to be able to give it some to get it running, so I'll kick on the slow side so I can throw it nice and positive for you. Okay.
On our crazy sheet too, it's calming down a little bit with 2 straight singles, but it's a 2-point advantage with Hammer playing 6 for Team Auckland.
Line's good!
For Team Fleury, you're kind of almost happy with that when you're down 7-0 at any point in a game.
Exactly.
Not curling. Close. Gotta get it by. There, we're by. Just high though. Should we finish it a little? Yeah. Yep. Oh, good.
Well, there's a great demonstration of how much curl there is in this ice. They were on that corner guard all the way, and look at where that stone ended up.
Better, a little wider.
Yeah, it's always a challenge when you throw those high corner guards. They can block that draw to the button path on you, and almost did there, but Chelsea gets a nice one into the back of the button area, and even though it's not maybe exactly where they wanted to, it really does the trick and starts to really shrink Team Howard's scoring area down. They'll need 2 absolute peaches here to create a skip's deuce.
Pretty much looking straight, draw it straight to the pin here.
Yeah, this is a draw to the button side. Should be close.
Uh-oh. Oof.
So that's what happens when you've got a little bit too much weight on
I was
the
trying to think of where that came
big
by.
swinging
So
ice.
that should get by there.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure it will.
Okay.
It ran into the corner and ended up with another center guard, so an absolute amazing chance here for Team Carey to wrap a draw into the top of the house, and Team Howard's going to have a very, very difficult shot to score.
At this point, you're just trying to restrict that path to the scoring zone right now with this rock, or are you looking to even restrict the scoring area itself?
Well, Chelsea, I mean, you've already got them down to the button, so the scoring area is pretty tiny. Chelsea said we don't have to be greedy here. We just really want to block that path and make Ashley throw that out-turn path through that small port. Top button would be ideal, but anything in the way of this in-turn draw is pretty great.
Line's good! A little tighter! Rian! Yep! Yeah, for line!
Just curling early.
Yes, for line! Hard for line! Hard, get it by! Okay, leave it, that's fine. Yeah, good, Sarah, nice. That's fine.
I was going to say, a rack isn't really the end of the world here as long as you can get it back onto that path.
Yeah, and they kind of did that. It was a great sweep. It looked like it was going to be kind of crashing pretty hard early, but they held it out, and with that tick, they really ended up with a good result.
Yeah, no, it gets by, it's perfect.
A beautiful double takeout leads to 2 for Team Barber against Team St. Clair, but still a 4-point disadvantage, 7-3 hammer to St. Clair on sheet 7.
Right.
And we have our first final with Team Anderson beating Team Barker.
How'd you think my weight was?
I think we can get there to score for sure in that turn.
Yeah.
You crossed so hard in the second end.
Yeah.
They just kept stealing.
I think that one. What I was thinking. Yeah.
This is the hard one you know or don't know, or versus the really, really hard one you know. So it's kind of a tricky choice here for Team Howard.
We were relatively
Yeah,
far
I
out.
think you need.
Heading, looking to go through the port
Give
there.
you a little inch more to aim at.
Yeah. This almost isn't a straight draw. This is almost an out-turn tap is probably what she's looking at. If you miss that corner guard, it's going to be curling, so trying to straight draw it to the button will be tough, but maybe more like a back 4, back 8 shot would be perfect.
Yeah, that center line guard's basically not even in play.
No, if you're near that one, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, this is exactly the line it went through, so.
You hear Ashley Howard say that she thinks this is the path that she has had drawn in the past.
Yeah, in the second end, she made a really nice shot for 1, and it was a very similar line. So they're trying to draw off of that, and A, for some knowledge, and B, for some confidence here as she's facing a really hard shot.
So last rock, she is facing 6 right now.
Yeah, early. Yep. Yep.
Whoa!
It looks really good.
Yes. Hard.
Yeah!
Really hard, Ash. Really hard.
Hard
Hard, Ash. Really hard.
Hard!
Taken
Uh-oh.
off.
That's on the guard. And that is a 6 for Chelsea Carey, and that will be handshakes, it looks like.
It's like if I do it and then she turns and it's like.
Don't make it about that.
Maybe not. I'm not.
Ashley's got all the equipment. That's going to be
Yeah, that's
handshakes
gonna be
at
handshakes.
10-2 for Team Carey over Team Howard in their first game here in the Canad Classic.
Congratulations.
So it's a
Are you guys engaging?
it's a pretty pretty technical win from Team Carey. Just similar to what we saw this morning is with Eve Muirhead is playing that scoreboard and taking advantages of misses. They missed probably just as much as Team Howard, but it's about minimizing those misses.
Yeah, and they got some great play, definitely from their second Dana, and for sure from the skip Chelsea, who got two skips deuces, and I mean it's tough to overcome that. Really, the rest of the game was pretty even, but those 2 deuces in 3 and 5 led the way, and an unfortunate end for a steal of 6 here to finish things off.
Yeah, so so we're going to transfer over to sheet 4. We do have cameras on that end. We're at a bit of an angle. We'll try to see. Looks like if you're looking at the situation now, Team Froud does not have the hammer, or has the hammer, is down 5-3 and has 2 buried.
Yeah, so they're really debating where they want to put this third stone. They have a really great setup here, and looking to tie the game or better, and it's just tricky where you put this third one. So kind of having a team discussion about it right now.
It looks like they're debating about what shot they want to try to take away. This looks like it's the first skip stone for Froud.
Yeah, skips first here.
Okay, so just a little bit of production stuff going on, so we're going to keep you up to date here with what is definitely an odd situation. Looks like they decided on a shot.
Yes, they're going to go open side here, and realizing that there might be some opportunity, but they're just trying to put a lot of pressure on Rhonda's last stone, and they're in pretty good shape for 2 almost no matter what, but this they think is the best way to attack a 3.
Team Froud from Waterloo, Ontario. We are just trying to take a look at. We were at a bit of an angle here.
This was. They took a long time, but the rock's now finally on the way here to go draw open side. Sweepers are off right now.
We'll touch that top yellow.
Not what they call, but a sneaky little result.
Takes away the raised double, takes away that double possibility, it looks like.
Yeah, Rhonda's going to try and hit it, and blue will still be lying one, but if she doesn't set up a double, it will minimize the damage is kind of the situation here. Sometimes it's a tricky situation. Team Froud is in a great spot, so you really want to take your time to make a good decision, but then you kind of ice the kicker a bit there, and they took so long that maybe it's tough to now throw a precise draw after that big of a break. So,
and we don't have mics on that game, so we're going to have to be a little bit better at reading body language and shot calling from hand motions.
Big shot on the way here for Team Varnes. Beauty, right on the nose, and now this has limited the damage to a hard shot for two in an end that looked like it might have gotten away from them. In the fifth end, Team Lu from China stole two to go up 4 on Team Roth from the States.
Yeah, I don't have the Team Varnes roster in front of me, but I do have Wikipedia, which we know is never wrong. So
tough draw for two on the way here from Team Froud. Down 2 playing 6, you'd really like this point.
Gotta somehow find a way to the 4-foot.
Sweepers are on it.
Get the kiss, and nicely done to tie the game.
Yeah, great shot there. So we head to 7 with it tied at 5 apiece.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break and be back with the 7th end on our secondary feature game.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
And we are back, Castida and Kochik, alongside Jason Gunnelson. So we're moving on. Chelsea Carey taking out Team Howard. In our feature game, we're moving on to Froud versus Varnes, and we're all knotted up at 5. And first rocks are here in the 7th end.
Yeah, we see Team Froud fresh off their 2-point end in 6 to tie it up. They go with the center guard here. Executed fairly well, and Team Varnes goes to the open side, trying to preserve the slight hammer lead they have here in 7.
So in this game, Froud took 2 in the first. Varnes replied in the second with 2 of her own, and then stole 2 in the third. Froud got back on the board with a single in 4. Varnes bumped her lead up to 5-3 in the fifth, and we just saw the sixth end where Froud knotted this game back up.
Yeah, a very interesting situation. That tied playing 7 is always interesting because the team without hammer is forced to play pretty aggressive, and the team with hammer wants to maybe start with a more defensive approach, but often gets forced their hand in switches, and you often see some big scores here for the hammer team.
So what's the play in the 7th here without the hammer? Do you go aggressive?
I would think that that's kind of where they're looking to do. They're not going. They're only going with 1 center, so they're going kind of aggressive, but not hyper aggressive. But yeah, I think you'll see. I think from these two teams, you'll see a more. Both those teams have a more patient approach in general. So I think you won't see too much crazy, but you definitely see some teams apply a full court press type aggressive strategy here, tied without playing 7. Another final on sheet 7 with a 7-3 victory for Team Sinclair over Team Barber. We also have a final on sheet 3 with, we're going to call it a 7-2 final for Team Robertson over Team McLean.
Had the 6th end played, I believe, in that third one. Score hasn't been put up, so it might be a little bit, not exactly sure. So looks like still 3 games underway here.
And on sheet 5, we also have handshakes here with Team China beating Team Roth by a score of 8-3. Beautiful little come-around draw here. Just on the top of the house, but a good situation for Team Froud. Varnes could play a clearing shot to try and open up the middle, but just chasing shot rock at the moment.
Ackland putting up another big end.
We're running out of scoreboard on sheet 2 with an 11-6 lead for Team Auckland versus Team Fleury playing the 7th end. That's the problem with giving up 5 in a game, though, is that when you're up 5 with 2 to play, the other team doesn't quit.
We're gonna need to order some scoreboard extenders.
Yeah,
just pull out the slider.
Yeah, it's getting crazy over there.
Here in our current game, looks like Froud's line 2.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting situation. With that wreck in the guard but rolling in, Froud could chase, but line 2 really would be a great opportunity to throw up a guard and continue to apply the pressure here. This is a very patient approach considering the scoreboard, but
interesting. This almost signals more of a force as a goal than a steal in this end.
for sure, that's definitely what they're playing towards, is that force, which would be nice to have the hammer 1 down with, you know, that's a good spot. That's a tough hit out in the wings there. You haven't seen much play, so you're not sure exactly how the ice is going to react, and they went to the safe side and hit and rolled out.
This is still quite a few rocks to come in this end. So right now it's about making the shot that's in front of you for both teams.
Yeah, it's just a long time to keep that split house and force in play here for Team Froud.
With that rock, both teams have 4 stones remaining. Skips in thirds. Nice roll there.
Yeah.
To make it another tough hit way out into the wings.
This is the same shot though, so they should have a pretty good idea of what it's gonna do out here.
Yeah, it's very hard to fucking make quadruples all the time.
They will prove that you can fall over the ground.
It's running straight on them here. Nice hit made, but I do not think the blue's in the rings here.
It's really close. As we stretch out here to try to see, I don't think it is. Bit of an awkward setup here as we transitioned from sheet 6 to sheet 4. All our equipment's set up right behind sheet 6, so we're at a bit of an angle.
Big sweep here.
Another rock right at the edges. So going to the center probably tells us that both those rocks are out.
Yeah, I would imagine so. The blue looks pretty clearly out, but they would definitely be making a play to the middle if the yellow was in, or play to the corner, sorry. So the fact they're playing to the middle, looking for a blank, and again, it's a very patient approach. I mean, tied without hammer is not a great spot to be, but it seems that Team Froud's pretty okay with that, so we'll see if Team Barnes can execute out to the blank here, or if we end up with something different happening.
Is there a miracle roll available behind any of those rocks?
It may be possible, but I don't think that's what they're looking for at this moment. If it happens, I think it'll be by accident.
Again, this end kind of opened up halfway through. Both teams generally have pretty much an idea of exactly what they're going to throw before they even get in the hack, or begin to consider their options. So Varnes laying one. Right at the top of the forefoot. The first of Froud's skip stones.
It's a full sweep here. This might be the sneaky roll you were talking about here, I think. Not quite
not
fully
quite,
buried.
not quite. Rock length more, maybe.
But nice enough that they've made Team Varnes bring the weight down and play that inside-out shot here, which seemed to curl a lot the last time they were playing it. So a good shot. Now there's definitely a roll though there for Rhonda. So. Good shot here, though. A hit and roll back to the center line would all but assure an opportunity for the blank.
First rock for Varnes. And that's on the guard. Shooter will hang around.
And a beautiful opportunity here out of nowhere to put the force into play. Calling for the takeout, which is maybe a bit surprising. You know, any draw into that side of the house would leave almost no double and potentially get the force that way. A rollout here brings the blank into play, and with it so deep in the house, the hit and stick is tough. Again, not seeing much desperation out of Team Froud. They're really playing with a very calm and patient game plan, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out here.
They're probably comfortable going into this with the idea of staying up, of stealing the win in the 8th.
I believe so. No sweeping on it yet. That's a rollout high side and an opportunity for a blank for Team Varnes to retain that vital hammer into the 8th end.
Yeah, a little surprised to see Froud go so conservative there. Final rock on the way here in this 7th end. Varnes looking for the blank.
This looks like some cleaning. She hits and sticks for her one.
Roll.
6-5 lead heading into the final end. This will be a thriller.
So we will be back with that 8th end after these messages. So make sure you stay tuned. Keep it locked in, even though we are online. And we are back here for this 8th end. Team Varnes scoring 1 in the 7th to take a 6-5 lead. So Froud looking to respond with 2 points here and take the win. First rock coming in. Look to be headed for a blank in 7, but Barnes' final rock did not roll out of the house. She'll open us up with a shot right to the center of the button. Corner guard coming in for Froud. We'll just nicely finish up for them. Center guard coming in here. So we're a couple of rocks in here, pretty much what you would expect in this situation.
Yeah, beautiful draw into the center here for Team Varnes. Corner guard goes up quickly, and they look here to play a top 12 kind of blocker center guard here. It'll be interesting to see if we see 2 corners or just play in the house already here from Team Froud.
Well, with the hammer down 1, you can afford to be a little bit patient at the very least. We have what we've seen of this Froud team. They like their patience.
Yeah, they're not rushing into anything here, and playing a little hit on the front one makes a lot of sense. Even if they were to roll out with the 5 rock rule now, Varnes wouldn't be able to go hit the corner. So this is a pretty standard shot here. Just missed the double.
Roll away from her corner guard.
Varnes right back to the hit here. They're both teams are pretty defensive by nature, and it's what we saw in 7. You know, keeping it open, and we're going to see this probably again in 8.
Only 2 games active right now. Even more, continue to be crazy rocks in play in that Fleury-Auckland game, or Ackland game, I should say.
Yeah, it's a 5-point game in the 7th end, and with that 5 rock free guard zone, I don't know, we got about a small dozen hunks of granite in there. It's quite entertaining.
I think it looks like there's 3 rocks to come, and there's only 1 out the back. So,
on a featured sheet here, we have a hit and roll to the corner being played by Team Froud. It looks like it's going to be a rollout. Now, Team Varnes, now the 5 rock is over, they could go up and rip the corner guard, and be very, very difficult for Team Froud to create a deuce, thus having the hammer playing the 9th end. Instead, Ronda's switching gears here and playing the center guard. An interesting call. They definitely are with plans of winning it in 8 here.
Does the team you're playing influence your decision here?
I think in some cases it would, but this retooled Varnes team is from Alberta. She just moved there, and the Team Froud is from, as you mentioned earlier, Waterloo. So I wouldn't think they'd have the level of familiarity required to be making opponent-specific decisions in this case. So it's probably more what they kind of believe in, and their philosophy as a team is more what we're seeing right here.
That stone probably rolling, or probably a little too heavy.
This rock is taking off.
It's completely gone. By everything.
Oh, and it's that aggressive call looking smart here now. Barnes with a great opportunity. One on the pin and one top 8. Throwing to guard it up.
And not a lot of rocks left for Froud. If you can lock this one in right where you want it to go. So how tight, when you're calling this, like how tight of a guard do you want?
Well, if you're perfectly in front of the yellow, most likely you're going to see a run back called. So the higher it is, the harder the run back is. But if you're higher, the easier like a soft hack weight hit is. So probably for here, they're looking at about the same depth as the blue is ideal. Looks like they got a very good one here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much perfectly placed for Team Varnes, and a great opportunity here.
Going with the run back option here.
Close here. Makes contact with all of them. What a shot.
Getting all of them go, all the yellows moving. Wow.
The shot they needed right there. They're running out of time, and now they could even turn this situation from defense to offense here with another beauty here coming up.
Still rock on the center line for Team Froud, or for Team Varnes to use. It is blue now, though.
Yeah. It's always interesting, though, when your team makes such a great shot that really turns momentum around, how the team follows back up. Pretty nice shot, mostly undercover, right on the button. An opportunity for hit and roll away to set up a 2, but pretty good shot. And we have handshakes on sheet 2 as Abby Auckland beats Tracy Fleury in a huge upset, actually, and I think they almost went off the scoreboard to boot, but they get the win in this A-side matchup, and that's a really great building victory for Team Auckland.
Both teams putting up a 5 spot in that game.
I think we had about a 12-6 final, something of that nature.
Interesting to see what kind of weight that Froud decided to play this shot with.
Yeah, this is the moment they've switched to the offense. They're playing a draw. They were talking about the hit originally, but they're playing the freeze. Looks like a good one. And it is a beautiful freeze. Oh. A little rope-a-dope there. Play some defense, and then thirds last, they make a pistol freeze after a great run double. Just fantastic curling.
So skips stones to come here. Varnes looking to put another yellow into the 4-foot, it looks like.
Yeah, they realize they can't get rid of that blue, so they just want to close the scoring area off now. Make a nice freeze. Seen a bunch down this path, which is always nice.
It's interesting that freeze definitely makes makes a single point a little bit more likely now, I think.
For sure, it's going to be very hard for like a steal to occur. So.
First rock from Vaughn's on the way. Sweepers pick it up right out of her hand.
Yeah, it looks like they like it though. A little bit of a bounce off. Pretty good shot, but definitely still an opportunity here for Team Froud to bounce inside and create that deuce that they so desperately need here to win the game in 8.
Plenty there are options here. I think they're debating if they want to play more of a takeout or more of a draw/tap, it looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those shots where it's one and the same, really. I mean, they're looking for maybe a back four, little bump and jiggle in towards the middle, but nobody's played on that out turn side in a while, so I'm pretty sure they're playing this in turn, like heavy draw kind of shot, and try and end up with their shooter in the top button area. The back blue is going to, drag on to the back yellow, so if they do hit it a little bit fat, that should still lay shot. Yeah, just looking for that heavy draw. Pretty much the same shot as Rhonda with 2 or 3 inches less ice would be perfect. This is one of the funniest things watching. Is they've never mentioned any other call. This is just the same call been mentioned again and again. They just have to fully commit in their mind to the exact weight they want to play, and then they'll ice it off of that.
You really could play this shot at any weight, really.
Yeah, I think anything from a draw to a hack or a board would probably make, it's all about getting the line match with the weight, and that's what they had a good discussion about on this end. Hopefully they'll have a nice discussion on the other end and throw a good shot down here.
So good. Looks like we don't have mics, so I assume some good communication is going on with the front end there.
Yeah, and it's a nice spot because the front end just swept this exact shot basically. So they've got a great idea what they want for speed.
Looks like trending a little bit more towards that draw weight, less towards that hack weight.
Yeah, it's a lot of ice.
Tap the corner guard. Do roll it in.
Kind of a tricky good plan B there.
Yeah, that blue that blue rock right there is a nice asset to have.
Rhonda's first to basically play that same shot, and really at this point she's just looking to give Team Froud the hardest shot possible for the win. It really looks like if she makes a good one, Blue will have an extremely difficult time getting a second point in. But if she tried to hit the blue out and lie shot, most likely it would actually help Blue open up area to score potentially even 2.
Would you ever consider coming in on the other turn?
I think that sneaky little roll kind of blocked that side a little bit. Is kind of what was positive for Team Froud. So I think that's protected now.
shorten up the ice compared to the shot we last saw, too.
Yeah, as they throw down the path more and more, it gets straighter and straighter.
And we did see that rock hang out a bit, so.
They're tight to the guard here.
Looks like they're on it.
On it. Looks like we might have a hit through the hole for a deuce, or a really hard wide out-turn draw for the two. We're not dead behind the sheets. It's a little tricky to see, but exactly how buried it is. But it's clear there's some of that top yellow exposed. So it's just what kind of weight they want to play through there. You're seeing them now talk about that wide draw that would be very, very tough, as they'd have to be very close to the top 8 rock to make that shot.
Yeah, the hit is you have that yellow at the back of the button that makes you need to roll perfectly on the hit if you want to score 2.
Yeah, most likely that combination would drag, and any roll towards the center line would actually yield a deuce. It'll be really interesting to see what they decide here. Yeah, they're getting there now with that, you know, hit the yellow kind of close to the nose, potentially leading to 2, or even 3 with weight. The danger with the hit, of course, is if you got extremely unlucky, you could remove your blue, whereas with the draw, you're guaranteed at least the extra end. But I think this is the shot.
Yeah, you'll take this shot over your steal chances in a 9th end.
I would think so, yes. She's made this decision now.
Like that, I like the amount of time she spent on each possibility. And this I think is the best shot available, but she didn't want to outright dismiss the draw or any other options.
Yeah, and she definitely looked through all the angles and all the weights that they could play, and I think her vice did a great job there of nudging her in the right direction without overpowering her and kind of, you know, keeping her in a good headspace.
Now you just got to make the shot. So hit through the port, try to jiggle the rocks around, and end up laying 2 here to win the game for Froud.
Huge sweep here. And a beauty for 2 in the
shot.
win. Great shot there. Massive sweep to squeak the guard.
So Froud gets 2 in a really well played 8th end to take the win over Team Varnes. That will do it for this is the last game on the sheet as well, or on the ice as well. So that will do it for us for the Canadians Women's Classic. We will be back. Jason and I will be back. Same commentary crew at 5 o'clock. So be sure to tune in for that one coming up later on today. So keep her locked in on CBC Sports and on the World Curling Tour.